On this James the Bike Guy, we're in for a treat. We're checking out the 2021 Specialized Epic Pro. This is an absolutely gorgeous race bike from Specialized, and it offers some really crazy performance in the XC space. So while we go into the features and designs of this bike, be sure you consider hitting that subscribe button, as well as let me know your thoughts about the part specs and the design while we go through the video down in the comment section below. So let's get into it. The Epic is most known for its brain technology, which essentially allows the bike to automatically lock out the suspension and unlock it based on the terrain. It uses a really advanced inertia valve right at the rear axle of the bike that is able to sense bumps coming from below rather than bob coming from above. And on the 2021 models, many of them come with a brain mounted in the fork as well. And that basically allows this bike to be a super fast pedaling, really efficient, and while they're at it, nice and clean, because you don't have to worry about lockout levers because the suspension is working all for you. Now for 2021, the frame set has been revised. So in my opinion, I love the look of the new one. It's a little more clean and sleek in design. The internal cable routing is gorgeous. The ability to run 2 water bottle cages on most sizes is an absolute awesome thing. And I love how down in the chainstay area, you just can't see any cables. It comes through this little rubber slot between the seat tube and the chainstay. And for 2021, they've taken what was already a pretty progressive geometry for an XC race bike, and they've brought it even further. Most notably, this bike is going to run a slacker head tube angle at 67.5 degrees on the front end. It's also then going to have a longer reach. In a size medium, this has a 445 millimeter reach, which means that they're employing either a 60 or a 70 millimeter stem based on the size of the bike. And then you're going to have a pretty steep 75.5 degree seat tube angle, which should allow you to get perched up, be able to climb really well. And then the best part of all is the chainstay length on this bike is 433. Basically what those geometry numbers allow for is a more confident descender. It's going to be more playful with a shorter overall wheelbase. That longer reach is going to give you more room up front, bring the front center out a bit longer. And then the bike also has a slightly lower standover height, which is a nice thing to boot. So this has 100 millimeters of travel, both in the front and the rear. And the fork that's on this bike is going to be the RockShox SID SL brain. So this is the new SID, which has a much lighter construction to it. I'll put a link above of a SID SL Ultimate I got to take a look at. But this thing is gorgeous. Now, of course, it's going to have brains, so you're going to be able to adjust the brain fade, which is how fast or how slow it goes from open to closed. You're also going to have rebound adjust. And then, of course, it's running a Debon air canister, so you can get this set up exactly to how you want it to perform. Now, the SID SL is going to run 32 millimeter stanchions, which is going to help keep it nice and light. For the rear suspension, we've got the brand new RockShox and Specialized brain suspension. This is a shock that's co-developed between the two. You can see it's super small in size and diameter. This is going to be able to run high pressures and give nice support. And on the back end, right around the rear axle, you're going to have the brain. So the reason they put that right on the back end and the rear axle of the bike is that's closest to wheel path. So that's where you're going to get the best reading on what's happening to the rear wheel and the best performance out of the back end of the bike. It should also be mentioned that the kinematics of the new Epic have allowed the race version to be a bit more progressive in its curve, as well as have much better mid-stroke support. So it's going to make this bike feel a lot more fun while pedaling, control the terrain a bit better than the previous generation, and make the bike a bit nicer overall. While we're in the back end, let's check out the drivetrain. So this being the Pro version, you get nearly an S-Works level setup. You got the SRAM X01 Eagle Axis rear derailleur. That's running through a 10 to 50 tooth X01 cassette. As you move forward, you've got the SRAM X1 carbon crankset with a 32 tooth chainring. That should make a nice wide range and good performance setup for an XC bike. And then I really like on these guys how you're gonna have their new chain guard. So this is something you've probably seen in some of my other videos, but the rubber chain guard is more than just being a slap protector. They now have these different bumps, which allow as the chain to come down, it doesn't hit flat. And it really makes an actual difference in how quiet the rear end of the bike is. For a wheel set, this has the beautiful Roval Control carbon wheels. These are a 25mm internal width wheel. Of course, they're running tubeless setup with a 0 bead hook and 28 spokes. And then for 2021, this is set up with some real DT Swiss 350 hubs, giving it the star ratchet system and a super reliable rear hub. For the cockpit, we'll have a body geometry Power Expert saddle. So this is a truncated nose saddle. It's running hollow tie rails. It's a super comfortable setup. And then you're gonna be running the S-Works carbon seat post. So this has a 10mm setback and a 30.9 diameter. As we go forward, we've got that aluminum specialized 70mm stem because this is a extra large frame size. And then you're gonna have the S-Works carbon XC mini rise handlebar. This has a 6-degree up sweep, an 8-degree back sweep, and gives a pretty lightweight handlebar while still being reasonably wide at 760mm. Now, while we're looking at this, I'm sure you can tell that cockpit is clean. So this wireless axis drivetrain is just crazy because you have no shift cables. It means you've just got this one pod right on the handlebar. So from here, you're able to do up and down shift. You're gonna have the level TLM brakes, which are really lightweight, but also super nice feeling brake. Out of SRAM's lineup, I personally like the level series the best because it's got a very linear feel to how the brake grabs. But just overall, I mean, this thing is pretty sweet. Now, to be even sweeter, I do have a video of the S-Works version of this bike as well that I'll have linked up there. So if you want to check that out, be sure to. So now that we've gone over all the features and designs of this bike, let's go ahead and find out what this thing weighs. The actual weight of the Specialized Epic Pro is going to come in and weigh crazy light 22.93 pounds. Well, thanks for watching this video on the 2021 Specialized Epic Pro. Go ahead and let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure to let me know what you think about this bike. Where does it fall in the lineup? Is this an XC rocket ship you could dream of? While you're at it, leave that thumbs up. It lets me know you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. That way you can see more videos like this in the future.